So for today, I want to tell you a story. The title of today's story will be Embarrassment. Have you noticed that sometimes when we do the chanting, sometimes people get nervous when you're the leader, right? When you're not the leader, you can just relax, maybe you don't have to think a lot, and it's kind of smooth, right? But then when you're the leader, no matter who it is, whether I'm the leader, Janika's the leader, Gavin's the leader, Austin's the leader, we get nervous, right? And then when we make a mistake, we get our faces get red, our ears get red, right? It gets very hot. Well, I want to tell you a story about this. The power of other people's opinions. Once upon a time, a long time ago, in this life, there was a young, very handsome young man who was visiting Luang Por Thoon's temple. You see the picture of the temple over there? So there was a young gentleman. I'm not going to tell you who it was, okay? But he was a very young, handsome guy. And he was walking around the JD. You see the JD, like the big building? So he was walking around, like, looking at people, waving to the girls, and stuff like that. Then he saw an old lady. And the old lady walked up to him and said, "Hey, you, I haven't seen you in like so many years. You gained a lot of weight. You look really fat." And that handsome young man felt like, because he had manners, it's like, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you again. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I did gain weight. Okay." And so she was saying stuff like, "Oh, you gained weight. How come you gained so much weight?" And the young man felt, he was walking around, he felt like his ego was this high. And then after she said it, his ego was like this high. Okay? So now he continues walking around, but now his head is down, his shoulders are down. He doesn't feel very handsome anymore. And then he met another lady. And this lady said to him, "Hey, I haven't seen you in so many years." And he's like, "Oh no, not again. Another one?" And she said, "Wow, you look like you lost a lot of weight. You're so handsome. My daughter's here too. You want to meet my daughter? She's about your age too." And that handsome young man was very confused because 3 minutes ago, he was ugly, fat, and not attractive. And then 3 minutes later, he's skinny and handsome? Is that possible? Is it possible for someone's face and body to change in just 3 minutes? Is it? So what changed? Because think about his feelings. When the old lady, notice how when she says you're fat and ugly, she's an old lady. But when she says you're looking young and handsome, she's like an older sister. So when the old lady said you're looking overweight and ugly, how did his feelings feel? Probably pretty bad, right? But then when the second lady said you're looking skinny and handsome, how did his feelings feel? Supposed to feel good, right? But here's the thing. Did he change? No. Now let's say 100 people called him fat and ugly. Does he become fat and ugly? Or does he stay the same? What if 100 people called him skinny and handsome? Is he skinny and handsome? Or is he still the same? This is a very important lesson. No matter what anyone says about you, good or bad, it doesn't change who you are. However much you weigh is how much you weighed. When you walk around, if you weigh 120 pounds, 150 pounds, when you're walking, you're 150 pounds. When the lady says you're fat, you're still 150 pounds. When the lady says you lost weight, you're still 150 pounds, right? It doesn't change. It's very important that when we do something, we shouldn't always think so much about what other people say. Because when other people say things, actually, let me give you a question. Hey, Abua, what do you think? If somebody has bad breath, okay, like really, really bad breath, and they open their mouth and bad breath comes out, is it their bad breath or our bad breath? Whose bad breath is it? But it entered my nose. So the bad breath came and it hit my nose and it went in my nose and I smelled it. Ooh, bad breath. Is it their bad breath or our bad breath? It's their bad breath. Now what if they have good breath? They open their mouth and it's, ooh, minty, smells nice. Is it their good breath or is it our good breath? It's the same thing. When people say things about you, it's a reflection of who they are. If they are someone who likes to criticize, they're going to criticize. If they're someone who likes to compliment, they're going to compliment. It doesn't change who you are. Don't measure your self-worth based on what other people say. Measure it based on what you do. So, if someone calls you overweight or calls you skinny, should you care about what they say? No. But should you go pay attention to whether are you overweight or are you skinny? If you're overweight, shouldn't you know yourself? If you're too skinny, shouldn't you know yourself? If you know yourself, you don't have to wait for other people to comment on you because it doesn't matter. Does that make sense? Okay, sadhu.